like to start with what I know and then work towards what I don't know. I wanted to take the formality of the house and the informality of the woods and kind of make the two combine. I'd like to show you how not to mulch around a tree. It's a step that I see very few landscapers doing. You want to make sure to have variation in your heights. Look at how lovely this is. We just cued the butterfly to come in. How you doing today, folks? Today I'm doing a job where I'm actually I'm starting the preparation to install a new garden. But before you can build something, you have to correct the soil and the conditions in the bed. And one of the things that this job entails is actually removing some mulch. I know I've made videos about mulching too deeply and about how I'm not really a big fan of landscape fabrics. And I think this job is a pretty good example of why landscape fabrics aren't so good. And there's really no damage from mulching too deeply, but it's just not a good idea in a landscape. And before I go any farther, I just want to say, you know, yesterday I knocked on the door to the house and I asked my client if it was okay if I filmed this video, you know, about mulching. And he said, well, geez, you know, I just went to put mulch down, you know, I didn't think about it. And, you know, I'm not really making these videos because I want to show what people did wrong. I'm really trying to focus on how to do things right. And in all the videos, you know, I make, I've pretty much made the same mistakes as I talk about, just that I've been in the game so long that I've had the time to make the mistakes. And I know the first job I worked out of college, I was 21 years old, I worked at a nursery for 1 year, and they wanted me to go out and mulch the display gardens in the nursery. And they gave me a farm-all tractor, which was awesome. There was a flatbed trailer, and we put some mulch on the trailer and went to mulch. And I mulched just as heavy as anybody else. There was a lady who was probably in her 30s at the time, and she would come over and say, John, you're mulching too deeply. So, you know, I just want to say that, you know, these videos aren't to show how not to do it, but I want to show you how to do it right. And sometimes the best way to show how to do it right is to show how to do it wrong. If you take a look over here, you can see that they installed a really nice, high quality landscape fabric whenever they mulch this bed. And it's doing a great job of being a fabric. But if you take a look at the ground, you can kind of see I've got some older mulch that's decomposed quite a bit in the background here. There's probably about 5 or 6 inches of it. And then we've got the fabric, but if you pull the fabric back, you'll see that the soil doesn't have the nice dark color that the mulch does, because the fabric is preventing the broken down mulch from mixing with the soil. And the other thing you're going to notice is over here, and what I've been doing is I've been scooping the mulch off this plastic and then pulling it up. But a lot of the roots of the tree have actually gone on top and grown into the mulch. And as soon as the weather dries out, those roots are going to dry out. Even yesterday when I was out working and I was pulling the fabric, I had to cut some roots that were like 1/4 inch in diameter, and it was very dry on top. And that means that in the summer, if you have a lot of roots above this fabric, your plant's going to dry out very quickly. When I first looked at this job, I knew there was too much mulch here just by the feel of it. It was too squishy. If you put this mulch on top of the roots of a plant, oxygen can't get through. You end up suffocating the plant. So that's about 6.5 to 7 inches of mulch. The most mulch you want is 2 to 3 inches. When I mulch a landscape for the first time, I go up more closer to 3 inches. After that first mulching, I keep the mulch closer to 2 inches. You just want enough to shade the ground. I go a little heavier when I first mulch landscapes because I want to make sure to choke out any grass or weeds that are left in the gardens. So this is clearly too much mulch. And I suspect what happened was we're on the side of the bed that's close to where the mulch would have been dumped. And I think maybe they just had some extra mulch, so they brought it over here and added to the garden. Folks, if repetition is the key to success, I just want to repeat, I pretty much never use landscape fabrics. I haven't used a landscape fabric in years. There's no reason whatsoever to use a landscape fabric underneath mulch. When you're mulching a new garden, The deepest you want your mulch to be is usually around 3 inches. If you're remulching a garden, keep the mulch closer to 2 inches. That's all you need. This is one of those cases where more is not better. And then the final tip I want to give you folks is if you order mulch, usually you end up ordering a little bit more than you need. You don't want to pay for a delivery fee to come out and deliver a half yard of mulch. So if you've got too much mulch, just go get a big tarp, like an 8x10 tarp, stack your mulch, make a pile of your mulch on one side of the tarp, and then fold the tarp over the pile of mulch and put a few rocks on it. And that's going to keep your mulch dry and viable. So you'll have that mulch for the rest of the year. And inevitably there's going to be a rainstorm that washes some away, or you'll notice a spot you missed or make some new gardens. So that's a great thing to do with extra mulch, rather than just dump it on the beds and make it deeper than it needs to be. So that's about it for today, folks, but thanks a lot for watching, and we will see you soon. Have a great day. This tree has what's known as volcano mulching. You see a tree with a big mound or volcano of mulch around the base of it. Now, volcano mulching causes the bark of the tree to be wet all the time. When things are wet all the time, they can get disease. So when I rip up this fabric, you see all this nice mulch. When I rip up this fabric, we've got our earthworms underneath the fabric. This guy's trying to get away, and the soil is definitely moister, but the mulch it's not mixing with the soil we've got here.